Chapter 706. Welcome the Holy Senior. Boom. The large teleportation device in the North Sea was activated again, into the distorted void. The figures of Zhu Ke and Liu Jingning blurred and disappeared along with the rotation of the device's light screen. Yi Beimai and the rest of the four young rock cultivators were still in a daze because of their surprise. They had been totally shocked by Zhu Ke's words, as well as the bizarre words of the poem. The sentence of "there is no endurance in our lives," said by Zhu Ke, was stunning enough for them. After all, those who dared to say that were arrogant fools or powerhouses with real strength. Eighth Elder, did he really kill a patriarch at the form synthesis stage and even a powerhouse who was at the threshold of the crossing calamity stage? This is impossible. A young rock girl asked in terror. Right, Eighth Elder. The four continents have been locked for so many years. Although we have an easy life because of that, cultivators in the four continents are more like flowers in the greenhouse compared to the outlanders who grew up in real life and death struggles. We have numerical superiority, but the real combat will still be quite bloody, right? The young rock boys asked Yi Beimai curiously, wanting to know her ideas. Yi Beimai shook her head with a complicated expression. It's hard to say. Before this, my ideas were the same as yours. Even the patriarchs of our tribe worry the four continents will be defeated by the outlanders. However, after seeing Zhu Ke today, I got a sudden idea that maybe he could change the situation. He could change the situation? The young rock cultivators were surprised. They knew clearly what Yi Beimai meant. Zhu Ke might be able to turn the tide for the four continents. The reason they were shocked was that their eighth elder's evaluation of Zhu Ke seemed to be too high. 2 months later, Zhu Ke and Liu Jingning walked out of the teleportation device again. Luckily, when they arrived at the East Continent, they didn't get the news that Dong Zhenji and the Outlanders had appeared in the East Continent. This greatly relieved Zhu Ke's worry. He didn't worry about the strength of those Outlanders. He worried that if he was late, the Outlanders might have entered the ancient Bronze Hall and done harm to Zhang Hongyan. Little Quek, if I am trapped in the ancient Bronze Hall, will you still be so nervous? Liu Jingning asked, as she looked at Zhu Ke with a smile. However, her smile was quite purposeful, as she would lose her temper if Zhu Ke gave her the wrong answer. Back on Earth, this could be described as being jealous. Zhu Ke patted his chest and said definitely, it's needless to ask. You are a wild beauty. I will surely be nervous, and even more nervous than I am now. Boo. You have a sweet tongue. Anyway, could you stop messing around with love affairs? You even flirted with that Yi Beimai in front of me. Be careful. I will tell that to Hongyan. Liu Jingning said with a faint smile. What? Zhu Ke was dumbfounded. He could guarantee with his conscience that he only tried to act tough when they were at the teleportation device at the North Sea and didn't flirt with Yi Beimai. Although that Yi Beimai is quite attractive, like a ripe peach that all men wanted to take a bite of. She is a rock after all. Could the king of tough acting sleep with a rock? Wait. Why not? Zhu Xian used to sleep with a snake. Ninkaichen used to sleep with a ghost. Both of them had made a name for themselves. Why couldn't I sleep with a rock? TSK, little Quek. Being salacious is always risky. If you continue to mess with love affairs, calamity might really fall on your head sooner or later. Liu Jingning sniggered and walked forward. Zhu Ke widened his eyes immediately. What the hell is this? A threat? Are you kidding? The king of tough acting will never be intimidated by threats. When I get a chance, I will do it in front of you, because I'd rather die than lose the opportunity to sleep with a rock. They kept heading for the Celestial Burial Valley quickly by taking many small teleportation devices. On their way, many cultivators, who saw them traveling together, were surprised. Could Zhu Ke really get married with Holy Virgin Liu? My god, this is definitely sticking a lovely flower in a dunghill. I can't figure out the reason. Why does Holy Virgin Liu adore scum like Zhu Ke? Holy Virgin Liu is one of the best holy virgins in the East Continent and even in the four continents. I didn't expect she would be stained by the villain Zhu Ke. What a big loss. A heavy loss for the world of cultivators. Many young cultivators exclaimed sadly by shaking their heads. Luckily, Zhu Ke, who was busy hurrying along, didn't hear those comments. Otherwise, according to his style, he would definitely hang out with Liu Jingning to provoke those bachelors. Several days later, Zhu Ke and Liu Jingning arrived at the Celestial Burial Valley safely. After returning to this place, they found the desolate city had disappeared long ago. Only the mysterious ancient bronze hall was still floating in the sky. The bronze walls were still dazzling. The flowing runes outside the hall formed an impenetrable restrictive spell to prevent outsiders from entering it. I don't know whether Hongyan is still okay inside. Liu Jingning sighed quietly as she stared at the hall. As long as she is alive, I'll get her out sooner or later. Anyone who plans to hurt her will be killed by me. Zhu Ke said seriously. Standing below the ancient bronze hall, he could still sense the aura of Zhang Hongyan with his powerful soul's strength. Moreover, after several years, Zhang Hongyan's aura had become more powerful, which meant she had found a great opportunity in the ancient bronze hall. What should we do now? Do you know how to enter the hall? Liu Jingning asked, looking at Zhu Ke. Zhu Ke shook his head. Although he had obtained the Taoist connotation now, the ancient bronze hall had been completely sealed up to him. The entrance had disappeared. Unless he could become a celestial spellmaster who could break the restive spell, he would never find a way to enter the hall. Forget it. Now what we can do is to wait here till the arrival of Dong Zhenji and those outlanders. Zhu Ke said. Liu Jingning's mouth opened slightly, and she said worriedly, "It's only you and me here. Could we defend the hall?" Although she knew Zhu Ke was quite powerful, their enemies had several cultivators at the summit of the form synthesis stage and one cultivator at the threshold of the crossing calamity stage. This lineup was too horrible. It could even suffocate all the powerhouses in the 4 continents. How could she calm down? Don't worry, I will kill them all. Zhu Ke's eyes were full of cold determination. He had made up his mind. This would be a tough battle, but he was confident he would win. At most, he could use all his acting tough points in the King of Tough Acting Fist. When he attacked with the punches that cost 10,000 acting tough points each, he could defeat the cultivators at the threshold of the crossing calamity stage and even the cultivator at the crossing calamity stage easily. Rumble. Just at this moment, the ancient bronze hall vibrated with a loud bang. What? Zhu Ke and Liu Jingning looked up in surprise. All the runes outside the ancient bronze hall started to rotate and flow like a river. Then, a strand of dazzling golden light came flashing down suddenly. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The next moment, the void around them was distorted and turned into many whirlpools. Over 10 figures emerged abruptly from the whirlpools. Zhu Ke and Liu Jingning didn't have time to respond to this sudden change. However, at this moment, those 10 people knelt down reverently toward the ancient bronze hall and shouted together, "Welcome the Holy Senior." Chapter 707. She is mine. The Holy Senior? What is going on? Zhu Ke and Liu Jingning looked at each other in surprise. In front of them, there were a group of cultivators of the form synthesis stage and, among them, were Dong Zhenji and a few patriarchs of influential factions. Obviously, these cultivators were from the other side. Zhu Ke and Liu Jingning were wondering why they were suddenly showing such a great respect to the ancient bronze hall. Who is the person they are admiring? Can it be Zhang Hongyan? Zhu Ke? Dong Zhenji spotted Zhu Ke and frowned. Zhu Ke turned around and smiled. Dong Zhenji, we finally meet. I think it's time for me to take what you owe me back now. I owe you nothing. Dong Zhenji sneered and shook his head. I have given that ancient book of records to these cultivators of the form synthesis stage. If you want it back, ask them, if you have the balls. Oh, really? Zhu Ke looked at the cultivators and smiled. I am sorry. Do any of you have my ancient book of records? If you do, please give it back to me. However, the cultivators did not reply. They were all waiting with great respect for someone who was coming out of the ancient bronze hall. You know what? You are not even entitled to talk with them. Dong Zhenji laughed at Zhu Ke. Zhu Ke stayed calm and sighed. It seems that they are all deaf. What a shame! How dare you? How dare you talk to us in that tone?" The cultivators angrily reprimanded Zuke and stared at him coldly. All of a sudden, an enormous pressure of power was about to fall upon Zuke. My goodness! Liu Jingning was shocked and almost suffocated by the power. She never expected that these cultivators were this powerful. Then, when she was about to pull Zuke back away from the cultivators, Zuke suddenly moved forward and punched the air. Bang! A fist-shaped light appeared in the air and faced off with the pressure. Bang! Something exploded. Zuke let go an acting tough king fist, which cost him 1,000 acting tough points and withstood the power pressure. Then, there was still pressure heading toward Dong Genji. What? This is impossible. Dong Genji was stunned. He never thought Zuke could be this powerful. He was so terrified that he even forgot to run. I have never seen anyone practice such an incantation before. Do any of you know what it is? An older cultivator of the form synthesis stage asked. Then, he got rid of the power pressure heading toward Dong Genji. All the cultivators turned to Zuke and asked, "Answer us. What is the incantation you just practiced?" Zuke patted his clothes and did not even look at them. He then said coldly, "Who the hell do you think you are? You are not even entitled to ask me questions." Zuke could no longer stand their pathetic arrogance. "How dare you talk to them like this? Now kneel down and say you are sorry." Dong Genji was furious. Zuke sneered, "Dong Genji, you are such a jerk. Tell them that the entire 4 continents are under my control. I don't care where they come from or how powerful they are, they need to kneel down in front of me." The next minute, a magnificent power pressure erupted from him and was about to hit the cultivators. "This is my Taoist connotation. Everything in the world must obey me." What? The cultivators were shocked. Even the one who was almost in the crossing calamity stage. Interesting. I never thought that here in the 4 continents, which have been restricted for such a long time, there is someone who has such a powerful Taoist connotation. The old cultivator who was in the crossing calamity stage said, "Young man, who on earth are you? Why are you interested in the ancient book of records?" Before Zuke even spoke, Dong Genji said hurriedly, "He is called Zuke and comes from the Exploding Heavens faction." Before the Holy Senior went into the Immortal Hall, he was always flirting with her. You see, he still hasn't given up. All of a sudden, everyone began to stare at Zuke harshly, including the one who was almost in the crossing calamity stage. It seemed that they could no longer suppress their intention of killing him. Zuke and Liu Jingning were stunned. They called the ancient bronze hall the Immortal Hall, and Hongyan the Holy Senior, so they were all admiring Hongyan. Thinking about this, Zuke became totally confused and had no idea why Zhang Hongyan became their Holy Senior all of a sudden. Hearing this, Liu Jingning sneered, "You are really good at lying. I will remember that you are the one who never gave up flirting with Hongyan." "Liu Jingning, how dare you speak ill of me? You even tried to kill Zhang Hongyan before." Dong Genji lied. "You." Liu Jingning pointed at him with her finger and became furious. "Jingning, let's not be angry at what this liar says. He can say anything he wants, and only fools would believe his words." Zuke said coldly. He was also indicating that if the cultivators bought Dong Genji's words, they would also be fools. The old cultivator who was almost in the crossing calamity stage sneered, "Young man, if you think Dong Genji is lying, tell me the truth then. What on earth happened between you and the Holy Senior and why are you here?" Zuke's eyes shone brightly and he said loudly, "Because she is mine." "How dare you?" the cultivators said with great anger. The old cultivator who was almost in the crossing calamity stage sneered also and said angrily, "Young man, you will pay for what you have said just now." "Oh, really? You are so confident that you can kill me?" "Let me tell you, if I were facing a cultivator of the Mahayana, the great vehicle stage, I would probably be afraid and run away. But, as for you, you are just like an ant to me." Zuke said calmly and summoned the system. He was already ready to get into a fight with them at any time. Bang! Something exploded inside the ancient bronze hall. All the inscriptions on the walls of the ancient bronze hall gathered together and then rippled like a drop of ink that fell onto a piece of white paper. Then a shining entrance appeared. A beautiful, noble, and elegant figure slowly walked out. As soon as Zhu Ke saw her, he felt that all the living creatures in this world should kneel down in front of her. Chapter 708, Take Back Your Life. Is she really Hongyan? This same surprising thought occurred to both Zhu Ke and Liu Jingning at the same time. She was indeed Zhang Hongyan. Her appearance and aura hadn't changed significantly. However, her temperament was totally changed. It was as if she was a completely different person. Before entering the ancient bronze hall, she had always been distant and remote, but she had also been pleasant, especially when Zhu Ke became familiar with her. He didn't feel any sense of distance from her. It seemed as if her heart was open to Zhu Ke, but now, as she stepped out of the ancient bronze hall, she seemed so overbearing. She acted like a superior governor who was looking down at everything in her realm. This change was not intentional. It was as if she had gotten this royal temperament by birth or because she had reached an untouchable position. "We greet you, Holy Senior." As she stepped out of the hall, the Outlanders started to shout, folding their hands and bowing reverently. Dong Zhenji and the patriarchs of several sects were looking at Zhang Hongyan in shock. Their expressions showed how confused they felt. Dong Zhenji even started to feel upset. However, Zhang Hongyan stood in the sky motionlessly and looked straight ahead. It seemed that she was enjoying all the beauty of the world and ignoring everybody standing around. Even so, the powerhouses at the summit of the form synthesis stage and the old man who was at the threshold of the crossing calamity stage didn't show any dissatisfaction. On the contrary, they stayed standing where they were, carefully and reverently, and didn't even dare to breathe heavily. "Is she still Zhang Hongyan?" Liu Jingning, who was dumbfounded, had to ask, looking at Zhu Ke. "Maybe yes, maybe no," Zhu Ke replied anxiously in a low voice. After all, only he knew how he had came to this world. He had crossed over to this world through reincarnation. Zhang Hongyan's appearance wasn't changed. However, her temperament was totally different, which made him upset. If Zhang Hongyan was killed in the ancient bronze hall, and her body was taken over by someone else, Zhu Ke and Liu Jingning would be in big trouble. "What should we do?" Zhu Ke couldn't help but clench his fists. The blue veins bulged on his hands, which meant he was extremely nervous now. He was afraid Zhang Hongyan had been taken over by someone else, which was something he could never accept. The entire area was very quiet. Everyone was looking at Zhang Hongyan and waiting for her to speak. However, Zhang Hongyan just ignored all the people as if she was the only person in this world. She remained steadily looking at the mountains and the waters. Her aura was so powerful that all the Outlanders were stunned. At last, the old man at the threshold of the crossing calamity stage said carefully, lowering his head reverently, "Holy Senior, congratulations for finishing your reincarnation successfully. From now on, the fate of this world is under your control." His Majesty ordered us to escort you back. Zhang Hongyan still kept silent. Zhu Ke was shocked by what the old man said. "Finished the reincarnation? Does it mean Zhang Hongyan is the reincarnation of a powerhouse? She can even control the fate of this world. Isn't it the reason for her unique fate? She was always fortunate, while people around her were dogged by bad luck as if their good luck had been taken away by her." "Holy Senior, this place is locked by shackles. Although we have opened the way back secretly, the way will still be closed soon. We should leave now." The old man at the threshold of the crossing calamity stage urged nervously. The old man and the powerhouses at the summit of the form synthesis stage were quite confused and didn't know why their Holy Senior ignored them. However, as their time here was quite limited, they didn't have space to think about it. They only wanted to escort their Holy Senior back, so that they could report on completion of their task. It was not up them to consider the rest of the problems. "Wait." Finally, Zhang Hongyan uttered her first word. Although she only said one word, "Wait," it was like an indisputable order. The Outlanders bent down even more reverently and said obediently, "As you wish." After that, the entire area fell silent again. Zhu Ke, who couldn't contain himself anymore, furrowed his eyebrows and shouted, "Hongyan, look, it's me." Zhang Hongyan was surprised a bit. Then, She lowered her head to look at Zuke. Zuke was quite happy and a smile appeared on his face. The Outlanders were shocked. Their holy senior had never looked at them since she stepped out of the hall. Now she was looking at a young man who was just at level 1 of the void training stage. What is going on? Could the holy senior really know him, and could she have a good relationship with him? Then, suddenly, Zhang Hongyan asked, looking at Zuke blankly. Who are you? Swish. The smile was frozen on Zuke's face. He couldn't believe it, and he was very upset. Who am I? You asked me who I am? He was vexed and amused at the same time. Apparently, he couldn't accept that Zhang Hongyan had forgotten who he was. The Outlanders, the Patriarchs, and Dong Genji secretly let out a huge sigh of relief. Their holy senior didn't know Zuke, or had forgotten Zuke, which was good news for them. Dong Genji's heart was at rest completely. He said loudly, suppressing the ecstasy in his heart, "Holy Senior, the name of this man is Zuke. He is quite powerful. Before you woke up from your reincarnation, he tried to seize you forcibly many times. The woman beside him is Liu Jingning, who used to hunt you down." What? Zhang Hongyan frowned slightly and looked at Dong Genji as if she was trying to confirm what he said. Dong Genji bent down immediately and said reverently, "Holy Senior, don't you remember when you fled into the ancient bronze hall because of her deadly chase? Dong Genji, you are such a hypocrite. How dare you play the trick of a thief crying stop thief?" Liu Jingning, who was totally furious, scolded him loudly. "Holy Senior, what I said is absolutely authentic." Dong Genji didn't change his expression and continued to stand reverently in front of Zhang Hongyan. "Dong Genji." Suddenly, a chilly voice spoke up. Dong Genji couldn't help but tremble a bit. He knew the voice came from Zuke. However, he didn't dare to look at him because he was terrified. Even though he was standing beside many powerhouses at the form synthesis stage, he was still terrified by Zuke. Why am I terrified? He didn't understand why he was terrified by a man at level 1 of the void training stage who was even younger than he was. Dong Genji didn't even dare to make eye contact with Zuke. At the same time, a magnificent kill intent was being released from Zuke's body. Before his recultivation, all his terrifying spiritual chi had been absorbed by his Taoist body. However, he used to kill many people and his bloodlusting heart had never changed. This magnificent momentum was quite rare among ordinary people. After leaving the Mystery Land, Zuke managed to contain his impulse of killing people with little provocation. After being invincible, he didn't want to haggle over small issues with mediocre cultivators. On the contrary, he even tried to enjoy their poor performance in front of him. But now Dong Genji had really annoyed him. He was already quite irritable because Zhang Hongyan had forgotten him. When Dong Genji had just tried to frame him, he couldn't contain his anger anymore. 2 years ago, I spared your sorry life. Today, I will take it back personally. Dong Genji, your mother has called you to go to hell. Zuke shouted furiously, dashing out like a shadow flying through the void. Chapter 709, I can easily kill you all. Zuke broke the sound barrier and created a huge explosion. He quickly moved his fingers and countless true core intertwined, and the next minute a huge heavenly thunder seal appeared, flying toward Dong Genji. Help! Dong Genji was terrified and his face turned pale instantly. He hurriedly backed off and asked the cultivators to help him. The cultivators' faces got gloomy immediately and they said with deep voices, "How dare you!" Bang! One of the cultivators chanted an incantation which made a blue light. The blue flame erupted and confronted Zuke's heavenly thunder seal. "Screw you!" Zuke was so angry. He practiced the King of Tough Acting Fist that was worth 3,000 acting tough points. Bang! The blue light was destroyed completely while Zuke's King of Tough Acting Fist was still shining and heading toward the cultivators. How can this be possible? They were stunned. In particular, the cultivator who had used the blue light was stunned, since no cultivator who was in the same level as he could withstand the blue light, and now Zuke, a young man from the void training stage, easily destroyed it. "Everything in the world should obey me." He then gave another punch. This time, The king of tough acting fist was worth about 4,000 acting tough points. Bang! The enormous fist shone brightly. It seemed that the gods were about to appear. The entire void was twisted and collapsed and was about to break. You are doomed. The cultivators were in a great rage and altogether they chanted a magnificent incantation, creating a bright light that extended far away. In the blink of an eye, Zhu Kei's king of tough acting fist crushed all the incantations chanted by them and headed directly toward the cultivators who were standing in front of Dong Zhenji. Bang, bang, bang. The cultivators were all thrown out. They were so shocked that their eyes were wide open. They could not believe that they were defeated by a young man of the first level of the void training stage. No. Dong Zhenji screamed. His handsome face was twisted by pure terror and became very ugly. He was standing there, with a huge fist coming toward him. He felt as if his feet were buried in concrete and found it harder and harder to breathe. Bang! Dong Zhenji was thrown into the mountains behind him. He died immediately and was no more. All of a sudden, no one said anything. Everyone was looking at Zhu Kei who was floating in the air. He was wearing a black robe and his clothes were flying in the wind. He looked like a real devil. This is impossible. The cultivators from the other side murmured and could not believe what they had seen. They were so surprised that they were shivering and their eyes were wide open. Dong Zhenji, under the protection of the cultivators of the form synthesis stage, was still killed at last. If the fist hit the cultivators, they were not sure if they could withstand it. How can this be possible? I can't believe there is such a powerful young man here in the four continents. Even we could not stop him. The cultivators regretted a lot, and they were feeling rather cold on their backs. They wished they had never come in the first place. Liu Jingning was standing still. Her eyes were shining in tears and her heart was beating fast. She was feeling surprised and excited at the same time. This powerful young man is mine. How dare you kill a cultivator in front of the holy senior? A cultivator from the other side demanded. They felt humiliated and angry and all wanted to finish Zhu Kei. You are just a bunch of rubbish. Do you really think you can withstand my power? Zhu Kei sneered and slowly descended to earth. Young man, you are really full of yourself. The old cultivator who was almost in the crossing calamity stage said with great anger. Zhu Kei did not answer them and sent a voice message to Liu Jingning. You should leave first. Zhu Kei knew that he was about to get into a bloody fight and would not have the energy to protect Liu Jingning. What? Liu Jingning was stunned and hurriedly said, no, you should come with me now. Since Hongyan could not remember you, I don't think there's a need to stay here. Zhu Kei smiled. Jingning, you go first and bring me some backup. I don't want to leave you here alone. Liu Jingning shook her head. Zhu Kei sighed and came up with an idea. He smiled and said, Liu Jingning, if we leave here, what if they take Hongyan away? How would we be able to find her? Listen to me. Go and find some helpers. I will not get into a fight with them this time. I will hide myself and stalk them. But Liu Jingning was worried Zhu Kei might be killed. Still she thought what Zhu Kei said made great sense. If we all leave here, I am afraid we would not be able to find Hongyan anymore. She finally nodded. Fine, I will go and find some helpers but you have to promise me that you won't confront them. Find somewhere to hide and stalk them. Okay. Zhu Kei agreed and gave a few pieces of his divine tracking emblems to Liu Jingning. Promise me you won't get into a fight with them. If you die, I will kill myself and lie next to you. Liu Jingning warned and left. The cultivators did not stop her. They only wanted to kill Zhu Kei. When Liu Jingning was finally out of his sight, Zhu Kei was relieved. He looked at the cultivators and sneered. Fine, I am ready to fight. You want to come fight against me one by one or all together? I hope you all come together so you won't waste my time. Lol. Young man, I have to admit that your fist is really powerful, which is totally out of my expectation. The old cultivator who was almost in the crossing calamity stage smiled and laughed at him. But you are just in the void training stage. With all the true core strength you have got, I don't think you can practice anymore. Don't worry about that, I can easily kill you all. Chapter 710, Weak. You are too weak. Really? Zhu Kei's casual answer didn't surprise the old man at all, so he waved his hand and threw out several black iron balls, saying seriously, "Gentlemen, come forth." Boom, boom, boom. The black iron balls exploded in the sky and created several whirlpools in the void. The next moment, several tall figures stepped out from the whirlpools with magnificent energy, turning the entire atmosphere quite oppressive. Cultivators at the threshold of the crossing calamity stage. Zhu Kei was stunned. All of these 5 cultivators at the threshold of the crossing calamity stage were well matched in strength with the old man. "Young man, we attach great importance to the escort of the Holy Senior, so they've sent reinforcements. They were asked to break the shackle and open our way back, so they are late. Now do you think you could still confront us?" The old man at the threshold of the crossing calamity stage asked aggressively with a faint smile. Zhu Kei couldn't help but frown. He had earned around 20,000 acting tough points when he killed Dong Genji just now. However, he was presently facing 5 more cultivators at the threshold of the crossing calamity stage. His acting tough points were not enough to kill them all. "Hongyan, your people are going to kill me. Why don't you stop them?" Zhu Kei looked up at Zhang Hongyan seriously. Zhang Hongyan also stared at Zhu Kei. She had looked at him like this when he was about to kill Dong Genji. No change of expression could be found in her extremely beautiful face. Her eyes stayed calm as if she was just enjoying the mountains and the waters. She didn't speak but stared at Zhu Kei quietly. Zhu Kei was quite disappointed and said, shaking his head sarcastically, "Fine. Forget it. Let me kill them in front of you." Boom. After saying that, Zhu Kei caused a huge bang, which was caused by the activation of the genuine secret of all of the 9 secrets. His strength was enhanced 10 times instantly. With a magnificent kill intent, his black hair waved in the wind. At the same time, he summoned his Taoist body and asked the Taoist body to activate the genuine secret of all, the people-killing book, and the sword of all layers. He had decided to attack them with all his strength. A Taoist body? How could a cultivator at the void training stage have a Taoist body? The Outlanders were shocked, including the cultivators at the crossing calamity stage. It seems this young man has a lot of secrets. Fortunately, his Taoist body is not very powerful. Let's kill him, and we will know the way to create a Taoist body naturally, a powerhouse said calmly. Coming to himself, the rest of the people also nodded and fixed their eyes on Zhu Kei. Zhu Kei smiled and shrugged calmly. "You talk a load of garbage. I gave you time to think how to fight me. Since you don't cherish your time, just go to hell." And saying that, Zhu Kei stomped very hard and the ground under his feet cracked open immediately. Then he dashed out like a stream of light. 10 times of strength enhancement and 30 times of power enhancement of the magic art made him extremely fast. His enemies felt Zhu Kei appear in front of them in a blink of the eyes. Boom! A huge bang sounded from the void. Zhu Kei threw out 2 punches instantly. 2 gigantic fists appeared directly, which were the king of tough acting fists. However, this time one punch cost 10,000 acting tough points. Even Zhu Kei couldn't estimate the power of the attack. Oh, no. Retreat. The Outlander powerhouses changed their expressions, seeking to dodge the attack. 6 powerhouses at the threshold of the crossing calamity stage were totally shocked because they expected Zhu Kei had used his full strength to kill Dong Genji. They could sense great danger from the upcoming attack. This guy is too mysterious. He is able to kill cultivators at the crossing calamity stage. The old man at the threshold of the crossing calamity stage shouted in panic. The rest of the people were shocked at the impressive display of Zhu Kei's strength. His attack is too fast. Help us, help us. Several powerhouses at the summit of the form synthesis stage screamed in terror. Go. The powerhouses who had escaped turned back and tried to help them with magic arts. A powerhouse at the threshold of the crossing calamity stage also participated in the rescue. However, they underestimated the power of the king of tough acting fists, which cost 10,000 acting tough points. Before being touched by the fists, they had been suppressed by the magnificent Taoist connotation. No, This is the strength of Taoist connotation. How could this be? Our Taoist connotation is being suppressed. We can't escape at full speed. No. Wait. Several powerhouses shouted in panic, "Stop!" The rest of the powerhouses at the threshold of the crossing calamity stage also shouted angrily almost at the same time, but it was too late. Rumble. The fists smashed down at last and created deafening noises. The ground all around them was totally cracked, and numerous crushed stones were flying in the sky. Those powerhouses at the form synthesis stage and the powerhouse at the threshold of the crossing calamity stage, who were covered by two King of Tough acting fists, had been nailed into the ground for hundreds of meters. The entire area fell into a dead silence. People's eyes widened in terror and anger. They couldn't believe what they had seen. They are all dead. He killed 8 cultivators with one move. The old man at the threshold of the crossing calamity stage was completely shocked as he could sense that all those 8 cultivators, including the powerhouse at the threshold of the crossing calamity stage, were dead. Ding! Congratulations to the host Zuke in killing a powerhouse at the threshold of the crossing calamity stage successfully. The reward is 40 million experience points. Ding! Congratulations to the host Zuke in killing a super powerhouse at the form synthesis stage successfully. The reward is 20 million experience points. Ding! Congratulations to the host Zuke in killing a super powerhouse at the form synthesis stage successfully. The reward is 20 million experience points. Ding! Congratulations to the host Zuke's upgrade. The current stage is level 2 of the Void Training stage. Ding! Congratulations to the host Zuke's upgrade. The current stage is level 3 of the Void Training stage. Zuke was upgraded for 2 times consecutively. His strength was enhanced remarkably and his true core strength became more magnificent. At the same time, he earned over 10,000 acting tough points, which almost turned back the acting tough points he spent for the 2 King of Tough acting fists. He didn't suffer any loss in the attack just now. However, a problem had also arisen. The side effect of the King of Tough acting fist appeared. 2 King of Tough acting fists that cost 10,000 acting tough points respectively made Zuke's Taoist connotation quite fragile. It seemed his Taoist connotation couldn't take such a big consumption and had become quite feeble. This situation could be deemed as an unstable Taoist mind, which meant he couldn't realize a perfect control of King of Tough acting fists that cost a lot of acting tough points. It seems my Taoist connotation has a limit. I'm afraid I need a break for several days to recover. Zuke was surprised. However, he had managed to earn a lot and stun those Outlanders successfully in the battle just now. Even though the Outlanders were so angry now, they didn't dare to confront Zuke. Weak. You are too weak. Zuke sighed and said as he looked at the people disdainfully, I just used 80% of my strength in my previous attack. Chapter 711, My heart is already dead. What? Hearing this, everyone was shocked. He hasn't practiced his full strength yet. How can this be possible? If he was really practicing his full strength, I think he would be able to kill a cultivator of the middle level of the crossing calamity stage. Ding! Congratulations to the host on successfully acting tough. The host is going to be rewarded with 3,000 acting tough points. The sound of the notification rang out. Zuke's face was restless as he looked at the cultivators with hatred. How boring. You are all so weak, and you are wasting my time. You know what? Cultivators like you in my faction would be just nobody. Then he changed into a shadow, and, in a minute, appeared in front of Zhang Hongyan. Be careful, my holy senior, the cultivators exclaimed and dashed forward, trying to get Zuke away. I am fine, Zhang Hongyan said coldly. Hearing this, everyone stopped. They did not dare to contradict Zhang Hongyan. At the same time, they were relieved, since they were really afraid of Zuke's strength. Zhang Hongyan began to size Zuke up, and Zuke also stared at her. Neither of them said anything. Hongyan. After a while, Zuke broke the silence, saying gently and patting his cheek, look at my handsome face. You really don't remember me? I have forgotten almost everything. I need time to recall. Tell me who you are. Zhang Hongyan said calmly. I am your husband. Zuke said with great excitement. We shouldered guns together. We went to brothels together. No, 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 when we first met. Since I am too handsome, people from your tribe forbade us being together. They sent cultivators to kill me, but we still did not give up on our love, and finally were together. On a dark night, we had sex at last. Do you forget all this? Zhang Hongyan frowned and kept silent. It seemed that she was thinking very hard and was also doubting what Zuke had just said. Zuke sighed. We met for the first time at the Soul Pagoda in the Five Elements Mountain. Suddenly, he became very serious, saying gently, "You called me little thing and I called you young lady." You smiled and accepted it. Your smile was so beautiful. When I was going through my heavenly tribulations, you came near me and tried to help me. When you were going through your heavenly tribulations, many cultivators called you heavenly cursed lone star and ambushed you, trying to kill you. So I came to rescue you and promised to you that no one could hurt you. Then, you went into the ancient bronze hall. I freaked out and thought I would never be able to see you again. Zuke's eyes began to water. He was not giving a show. He really missed the time that they had spent together. Zhang Hongyan was still looking at him calmly. She was not moved at all. She had really forgotten what had happened in the past. As they listened, the cultivators were moved by him. Knowing that Zuke was not lying, they could not even imagine such a scene. Can it be possible that there was really a story between our holy senior and this young man? Even if it is true, so what? Our holy senior is so noble, and a young man like him can never have her. To be honest, he did not have the right to even get close to her. The old cultivator who was almost in the crossing calamity stage sneered. You are right. In fact, before our holy senior reincarnated, she was already engaged to the young master of the Saint Palace. Now that she has successfully gone through her reincarnation, she should marry him as soon as she gets back home. According to what His Majesty said, in 10 days, the Holy Senior will be able to remember what happened in her last life and the life before her last life. I remember that she did not want to get married to our master. If we let her get back her memory, she might not want to go back with us. So, we must hurry up and take her back. Anyway, the entrance is going to close soon. The cultivators were discussing what to do. They did not dare ask the Holy Senior to do anything, so they decided to find an opportunity to inform her. After I destroyed my own cultivation, I started all over again by cultivating in seclusion. Luckily, I finally got my own Taoist connotation. But I never thought that you would have already forgotten everything that ever happened between us, Zuke said, a drop of tears running down his cheek. Zhang Hongyan was a bit surprised and stared at the dropping tear. To her surprise, she had a sense of déjà vu. She felt a bit anxious. I see. Zuke was a bit disappointed and laughed at himself. I have said so much, and you still can't recall the things that happened between us. I am just not so important to you, am I? Seeing his disappointed face, Zhang Hongyan was a bit heartbroken. She was surprised that she could even feel this emotional. If what you said is all true, then give me some time. I promise I will recall it. Zhang Hongyan said abruptly. Never mind, my heart is already dead. Zuke shook his head and sighed. His eyes looked hollow and it seemed that he had lost all his strength. He was so lonely. Hearing this, everyone was a bit relieved and glad that Zuke had finally given up trying to make Zhang Hongyan recollect her past memories. Now everything became much easier, and the cultivators did not need to fight against Zuke and could take Zhang Hongyan directly back. Wait. Zhang Hongyan cried when she saw that Zuke was about to leave. Right at this moment, a figure appeared behind Zhang Hongyan. The figure had long silver hair and a face so stern. There was a long black stick in his hand. Bang! He hit Zhang Hongyan with the long black stick. Zhang Hongyan was stunned and immediately fell down right into Zuke's arms. Zuke quickly turned around and, holding Zhang Hongyan in his arms, ran away. Seeing this, the cultivators were completely shocked. Their minds all went blank. They never imagined that Zuke would do such a thing. How shameless he is! How dare you! Stop! They were furious and began to go after Zuke. Lol, you idiots! Go back and eat your own crap. Zuke laughed out loud. the melancholy in his face totally gone. He was holding Zhang Hongyan in one hand and throwing pieces of stinky tofu toward them with the other hand. Then he summoned his Taoist body and activated the divine tracking emblem. In the blink of an eye, he vanished. Chapter 712, The East Continent bubbled up. Bastard! How dare you! The entire area was filled with angry roars. All the Outlanders, with eyes full of flames and fury, were out of their minds with rage and even planned to eat Zhu Ke alive. However, Zhu Ke had escaped together with Zhang Hongyan. He ignited dozens of divine escape spells without any hesitation, which teleported them over 1,000 kilometers instantly. The Outlanders couldn't sense their whereabouts at all. None of them expected Zhu Ke could flee in this way. 1 minute, he was a love-struck man whose heart had been broken. In the next minute, he became a villain who dared to use all kinds of wicked tricks to drag Zhang Hongyan away, after knocking her unconscious in front of them. Find him. Find that little bastard. Leave no stone unturned. The old man at the threshold of the Crossing Calamity stage yelled angrily at the patriarchs of several sects from the East Continent. The patriarchs could do nothing but agree bitterly. They used to be the most revered cultivators in the 4 continents who were almost omnipotent. They believed Dong Zhenji's flattery and encouragement that they would be backed by a powerful foreign sect. They didn't expect they would be treated as humble servants, which made them quite angry. However, they also felt very sorry for Zhu Ke. Zhu Ke's actions had driven the Outlanders mad completely. Sooner or later, those foreign cultivators would land in the 4 continents. Zhu Ke can't hide forever. That guy is a horrible opponent. However, he has offended the big shots in the Xuanzan continent totally. Once he is spotted, he will die miserably. Forget it. Let's issue an arrest warrant. His death will be good news for us. Right. That's exactly what I am thinking. After a simple discussion, the patriarchs left to issue an arrest warrant for Zhu Ke. The cooperation of several big sects would cause a great impact. Within 2 days, this issue became well known in most areas of the East Continent. The big sects revealed the identity of Zhang Hongyan and addressed her as the Holy Senior. Finally, they denounced Zhu Ke's despicable action of dragging Zhang Hongyan away. They would hunt down Zhu Ke. All the cultivators in the East Continent who heard the news were shocked. Holy crap! How has Zhu Ke created such big trouble in so short a period? My god, is he really that shameless? I didn't expect he would knock Zhang Hongyan unconscious and drag her away. You tell me. It is not a surprise for me at all. Don't you know the style of Zhu Ke? Right. It's been no surprise to me for him to do such a thing. However, how could Zhang Hongyan become a person of the Xuanzan continent? Even the patriarchs have to address her as the Holy Senior. It's more than that. I've heard that those Outlanders also addressed her as the Holy Senior, including those cultivators at the threshold of the Crossing Calamity stage. Haha, I don't know what will happen to Zhu Ke, but now the Zhang family must be quite anxious. They previously banished Zhang Hongyan, who has now become the Holy Senior of the Xuanzan continent. I really want to know what the patriarch of the Zhang family is thinking. This is going to be an interesting story. The entire East continent was talking about this issue. More and more people were waiting for the reaction of the Zhang family. To their surprise, when people arrived at the Zhang family home, they found the Zhang family had already activated their protective spell to seal the entire area around the mountain where they were living. Apparently, they were worried about revenge from the Outlanders. Liu Jingning knew Zhu Ke dragged Zhang Hongyan away on the first day. She planned to go back to the Utopia faction and ask help from their patriarch. She didn't expect what someone told her. Zhu Ke flew overhead, taking a woman with him. Before she arrived at the Utopia faction, someone even complained to Liu Jingning that Zhu Ke was a sex predator. As a smart woman, Liu Jingning figured out that Zhu Ke, who had rescued Zhang Hongyan, was being hunted. She went back to the Utopia faction immediately. They had received the arrest warrants from the sects. Zhu Ke's actions knocking Zhang Hongyan unconscious and dragging her away made the entire Utopia faction quite speechless. HMPH, I didn't expect Zhu Ke could be such a pervert. I was blind to marry our Holy Virgin to him. The faction leader of the Utopia faction announced angrily, "I hereby announce that our Holy Virgin will not marry Zhu Ke. She will also break off all relations with Zhu Ke." At last, they even grounded Liu Jingning. Hearing the announcement, countless cultivators in the East Continent rolled their eyes. All of them knew the leader of the Utopia faction was trying to cut ties with Zhu Ke to avoid the revenge of the Outlanders. Even Buttface and Wanjude, who had disappeared for a long time, expressed their opinions after being found in the East Continent. "Zhu Ke has become history. I've cut all ties with him. I don't even want to mention his name. In future, I will only address him as someone whose family name is Zhu. Everyone who hates him could seek revenge against him. Just leave me alone." "Exactly. I've known that guy is quite evil for a long time. I tried to kill him but he managed to escape. If you know where he is, please tell me and I will kill him immediately." However, 3 days later, people received other news. Before dragging Zhang Hongyan away, Zhu Ke killed Dong Zhenji with one punch and killed 7 powerhouses at the summit of the Form Synthesis stage and 1 powerhouse at the threshold of the Crossing Calamity stage with 2 punches. The entire East Continent was in an uproar and bubbled up immediately. "Holy crap, how could this be possible? I've heard he is just at level 1 of the Void training stage. How could he kill so many powerhouses?" "It is true, I've had the news from a patriarch who divulged it unintentionally. Moreover, don't forget Zhu Ke has killed a powerhouse at the Form Synthesis stage of the Heavenly Horn Ox tribe outside the Mystery Land in the South Continent." "Right." Other sects also asked the Patriarch about this issue. The Patriarch gave his reply by nodding his head. "My God, that's horrible. What kind of opportunity did he get before? When he was outside the Celestial Burial Valley in those years, he couldn't even kill those Holy Sons and Holy Virgins at the Void training stage. I didn't expect he could kill cultivators at the summit of the Form Synthesis stage and the threshold of the Crossing Calamity stage in such a short time. Damn, that's really horrible." In a corner of the East Continent, Buttface and Wanjude jumped up and declared, "My brother K is taciturn and ruthless. I am his best friend. Anyone who plans to attack him shall go through me first. Zhu Ke is a tough good man. We are close friends regardless of age. I hereby declare that Wanjude will join the Exploding Heavens faction today." "Buddies of the Exploding Heavens faction, when you have time, let's drink and chat together." The faction leader of the Utopia faction also announced, "I am done with the rumors that the Utopia faction won't marry its Holy Virgin to Zhu Ke. I hereby clarify that our Holy Virgin will still marry Zhu Ke, which has never changed." All cultivators in the East Continent rolled their eyes speechlessly at this clarification. However, Zhu Ke didn't show up. After dragging Zhang Hongyan away, he kept running for a long distance to evade everyone and circled back to the Celestial Burial Valley at last. As a man who crossed over to this world, he knew very well that the most dangerous place is always the safest. Zhang Hongyan came to life on the same day. She was quite calm and wasn't angry at Zhu Ke's actions at all. "So, this is the way you treat your beloved person, right?" she asked calmly as she opened her eyes. Zhu Ke's eyes widened in surprise and he said, "Hongyan, don't you remember how you said between husband and wife, beating is affection, abusing is love, and kicking is the most intimate action? Moreover, I had to do that to save you. Otherwise, how could I bear to hit you?" Chapter 713. What are you going to do? I can't have said things like that. Zhang Hongyan looked at Zhu Ke and gently shook her head. She was always calm, always. Zhu Ke was already used to her character and smiled at her. "Anyway, you have to know that I will never hurt you. I did hit you with a long black stick, but I didn't do it to hurt you." Previously, when he successfully killed a cultivator from the Heaven Horn Ox tribe who was in the form synthesis stage, he received a big mystery bag from the system. Earlier, while he was speaking with Zhang Hongyan with an extremely melancholy tone, he activated his lucky aura and opened his big mystery bag. Inside, he only found 2 objects, a red rope of marriage and a long black stick. He had already used the red rope of marriage once, and he was very excited about the long black stick. The long black stick would not hurt anyone, but Once someone was hit by it, they would faint. Some cultivators would not want to lower themselves to use such an object, but, for Zhu, it was quite a treasure. Yes, indeed, I don't feel any pain. How did you manage to do that? Zhang Hongyan asked curiously. She knew clearly her own strength and was sure that Zhu could not knock her out so easily. But she had fainted and, strangely, she did not feel any pain at all. When you recall everything that happened between us, I will tell you. Zhu smiled. It's a deal. Zhang Hongyan said, smiling. Zhu thought she would desperately want to know the answer, but, to his surprise, Zhang Hongyan was not that curious. Zhu then hurriedly said, or you can kiss me, hug me, and hold me high like you did in the past. I will tell you then. No. Zhang Hongyan refused, and looked at Zhu seriously. I think most of what you have said is false. What? Zhu was shocked. You just said you forgot everything. How do you know I was lying earlier? I don't know. Zhang Hongyan said, when you said you are my husband, I know you lied. But when you talked about where we met for the first time and the things that happened after, it all seemed true. You are brilliant. Zhu was a bit embarrassed. I thought I could cheat her for one time after she lost all her memory. Unlike those idiots on TV, who can easily be cheated, she proved me wrong. I guess she is the only person in the world who can't be cheated, even when she has lost all her memories. You are taking me somewhere to help me to recollect my memories, right? Zhang Hongyan asked. Yes, believe me, as soon as you manage to do so, you will never want to leave me again. Zhu said. Why? Because we love each other so much. Zhang Hongyan was speechless and kept silent. During the next few days, Zhang Hongyan sat in the bare land Zhu had taken her to and began to cultivate. Obviously, she was also trying everything she could to recollect all her memories. But Zhu was terribly upset. After a few years, he had finally found Zhang Hongyan again, and she went straight to cultivating before they had even talked much. He knew that she did so because she had lost all her memories, but, in front of such a beauty, he could not stop himself from flirting with her. Hongyan, little Hong, little Yan, you are so beautiful. My God, there are no wrinkles around your eyes. Please, talk with me. Sitting here all day long is such a bore. Maybe you would prefer to dance with me? You know, I am very good at dancing. People all call me the king of the square dance. Nichols Zhu kept nagging at her. But Zhang Hongyan was not disturbed at all. She just sat there quietly and continued with her cultivation. Back in the Seoul Pagoda, at the first time they met, Zhang Hongyan thought Zhu was a monster that she needed to get out of her mind. Until Zhu took a piece of stinky tofu and stuffed it into her mouth. And then she realized that he really existed. Zhu thought of this and he came up with an idea. If I stuff a piece of stinky tofu into her mouth, she won't be cross with me, right? Well, I hope not. But actually he did not do so, because previously Zhang Hongyan had reached a critical moment of her cultivation where she could not move at all. That was the only reason why she did not manage to stop Zhu from stuffing a piece of stinky tofu into her mouth. Now she has not been restricted and she did not remember who I am. What if she runs away after I stuff a piece of stinky tofu into her mouth? How boring. Zhu sat down not far away from Zhang Hongyan and sighed. Then he summoned his system to see if he could find anything interesting there. Wow! He stared at the red rope of marriage. He once used it when he was with the Zixia fairy, but since she was still cultivating, he did not know the actual effect of it. Although Hongyan said she would recollect her memory soon, what if she fails to do so? Even if she does, we are not that close. In fact, if we can finally be together or not, I am not sure. Anyway, I should have a try. Zhu hesitated for a while and made up his mind. Tie her to me. Zhu carefully got up and gently walked toward Zhang Hongyan. However, when he stood in front of Zhang Hongyan, she suddenly opened her eyes. What are you going to do? Zhang Hongyan looked straight at Zhu. Zhu was stunned and hurriedly forced out a smile. Nothing. I want to dance in front of you to make you happy. Do you see the little red thread? It goes well with my dancing. Zhang Hongyan calmly looked at him and said, Dance then. She really wants me to dance? Zhu Kai was amazed and stood still for a while, then he held the red thread high up in the sky and began to move from side to side, singing an Indian song. Chapter 714. Is there only one room left? Zhang Hongyan was surprised by Zhu Kai's funny accent and the way he danced. What is this dance music? She asked, puzzled. Although she didn't understand the lyrics, she liked the music and thought it was quite unique. Zhu Kai said guiltily, "This is Indian dance music. Actually, I am not at all good at it. Your singing and dancing are pretty good." Zhang Hongyan nodded happily, commenting seriously, "You flatter me." Zhu Kai smiled humbly, but in his heart he was secretly sighing. He had just tried to creep up on her, but she spotted him right away. Apparently, his previous sneak attack had made her alert. "No, that won't do. As the king of tough acting, I won't tolerate such a failure. Why do I feel so guilty?" It was too humiliating that I had to sing that Indian song when she spotted my action. I have to turn the tide. Zhu Kai straightened his back and said with a faint smile as he played with the red rope of marriage, "Hongyan, I remember I can perform a kind of magic trick. Do you want to have a look?" "A magic trick? Are you a member of a demonic sect?" Zhang Hongyan asked calmly, as if she wouldn't be surprised if Zhu Kai was really a member of a demonic sect, because Zhu Kai's actions were even meaner than those of demonic sects. "No, how could I, a scholar, join a demonic sect? The magic trick is a term in the slang of my hometown. Here you call it conjuring," Zhu Kai explained, shaking his head. "Oh." Zhang Hongyan nodded slightly, her face still calm. She was not interested in his magic trick. Finally, to get her attention, Zhu Kai said, "Hongyan, do you believe I could make this red rope disappear in front of you without using the storage ring?" "Oh, how will you do that?" Zhang Hongyan opened her eyes slightly and looked at Zhu Kai curiously. "Please reach out your hand first." Zhu Kai smiled mysteriously, trying to create an interesting atmosphere. Zhang Hongyan reached out her hand after a short hesitation. Her wrist exposed from her robe sleeve was so white and dainty. "First, I will bind this red rope on your hand for 2 rounds to get some heavenly chi." Zhu Kai started to bind one end of the rope on Zhang Hongyan as he explained. Zhang Hongyan didn't reject him and just let him bind the rope on her hand. Then she said, shaking her head, "I haven't reached the stage of a celestial, so I don't have the heavenly chi." "No problem, you will have it as long as I believe that," Zhu Kai said shamelessly as he tied a knot. Then, he bound the other end of the rope on his own wrist and explained, "Now I will bind the rope on my hand to get some handsomeness." Zhang Hongyan was still quite calm and said nothing. "Next, it's time to witness the miracle. Look," Zhu Kai said as he also tied a knot on his wrist. Whoosh, a faint red halo appeared on the red rope. Then the red rope just disappeared. This meant that the predestined marriage between them had been fixed. "What?" Zhang Hongyan, who didn't know what had happened, was quite surprised and confused, for she could sense that Zhu Kai had done nothing just now. He just bound the rope to their hands and the rope really disappeared. "How did you do that?" She was curious at last. Zhu Kai's actions were always so weird. For example, the black stick that he used to knock her unconscious and the red rope that just disappeared weren't something ordinary cultivators would have. Zhu Kai loved showing off. He said with a wicked smile, "This is a secret. I will tell you if you kiss me, hug me, and raise me up." Zhang Hongyan fixed her eyes on him quietly for a while. Then, she closed her eyes and went back to cultivating. Zhu Kai was dumbfounded. Holy crap, she is so cold. Since she lost her memory, she also forgot all my efforts before. As expected, it is so difficult to flirt with the Empress. However, we have been connected by the red rope of marriage. How could this be? Zhu Kai sat beside her suspiciously and decided to wait for all possible changes. Nothing happened in the next half hour. Damn, could the red rope be a fake one? Zhu Kai was confused. However, the Empress's mind was also in disorder. She took pleasure in tranquility, but she didn't know why she couldn't focus on cultivation for more than half an hour after talking with Zhu Kai. It was quite abnormal. Inexplicably, she wanted to walk around and have a look at this strange world. At first, This idea seemed insignificant. However, as time went by, she became more and more eager to go out and have a look. Zhu Ke. Finally, she opened her beautiful eyes and called Zhu Ke. Zhu Ke was shocked. What? Zhang Hongyan stood up and said in a low voice, I want to go for a walk. Could you follow? Go with me? She originally planned to say just follow me. However, follow me seemed more abrupt than go with me. She had just changed her wording inexplicably because she felt she couldn't talk to Zhu Ke in that tone. Go for a walk? Is this a date? Zhu Ke was surprised. Then he agreed. Fine, I'll go with you. Deep in his heart, he was quite delighted. Before Zhang Hongyan lost her memory, she wouldn't say go with me to have a walk. Now, when she had lost her memory, it happened suddenly. It must definitely have been caused by the red rope of marriage, which could create opportunities for him to be with her. I want to take a walk in a place with lots of people, Zhang Hongyan added. Sure, no problem. Zhu Ke replied. Aren't you afraid of being spotted? They will still be looking for me now, Zhang Hongyan said. She believed that Zhu Ke escaped with her because he was not able to kill all the powerhouses at the threshold of the crossing calamity stage. The real reason was that Zhu Ke attacked with 2 punches that cost 10,000 acting tough points each, which made his Taoist connotation quite fragile, even with the assistance of the automatic recovery function of the system. However, after several days' rest, he had already regained his power and was not afraid of anyone. I'm not afraid of it at all. Don't worry. The reason I left with you was not because they were too powerful, but because you used to tell me it is not wise to kill too many people. I've kept your words in my mind. Moreover, they would also be your underlings in the future. How could I kill them? Zhu Ke said shamelessly. Zhang Hongyan was slightly stunned and said after a while, You remembered what I said before? Of course. Zhu Ke said with a shiny smile. Zhang Hongyan nodded slightly and became silent. However, her heart couldn't calm down. No wonder he was so upset and disappointed when he found I'd forgotten him. He remembers everything I said and did before. He really loves me, but I've forgotten him completely, which must hurt him greatly. Before regaining my memory, maybe I should treat him well. As she thought of this, Zhang Hongyan said in a low voice, Let's go. And they started walking side by side. Zhu Ke didn't think too much. He started to pray that all the hostels in the nearby cities could have only 1 room left tonight. However, when they arrived at the ancient city, they found only a few cultivators in the city. After all, this city was in the area of the Celestial Burial Valley, which was quite desolate. Basically, no cultivators would come to this city when there was no important business. But Zhu Ke had become a renowned person in the East Continent. When he and Zhang Hongyan appeared in the ancient city, everyone was shocked and it caused an uproar. Holy crap, it's Zhu Ke, run. Zhu Ke is here. Hell, why should we run away? We didn't offend him before. You are not afraid of him. But I have a younger sister. I'm afraid she might be dragged away after being knocked unconscious by Zhu Ke. Damn, your younger sister is only 4 years old, right? She is 4 this year and no longer a 3-year-old child. I should ensure her safety. Wherever Zhu Ke went, all the cultivators with female family members would run away immediately to avoid him. Their actions made Zhu Ke quite speechless and embarrassed. Luckily, Zhang Hongyan didn't care about that at all. Her eyes were fixed on everything in the ancient city and she was completely immersed in her own world. However, the news that Zhu Ke had shown up was soon spread everywhere. Early the next morning, the Outlanders with a powerful kill intent came to the ancient city together with several patriarchs of the East Continent. But they found nothing, for Zhu Ke and Zhang Hongyan had left a long time before. A patriarch got astonishing news. He reported it to the old man at the threshold of the crossing calamity stage with a weird expression. Several hostel keepers said Zhu Ke asked them whether they had only 1 room left in their hostels. Then, he left for other cities together with the Holy Senior when he knew there were a lot of empty rooms left. All the Outlanders were stunned. Then, they started yelling angrily. What a bastard! Why did he want 1 room? Come on, keep searching for him. For the next 2 days, they still failed to find Zhu Ke and Zhang Hongyan. When they arrived at a place, they would find out that Zhu Ke and Zhang Hongyan had left a long time before, and the reason was always the same. Zhu Ke couldn't find a hostel with only one room left. All the Outlanders were totally annoyed by that. Just tell Zhu Ke, we will wait for him outside the Celestial Burial Valley. If he doesn't show up, we will slaughter the East Continent. The Outlanders couldn't take it anymore and decided to use this cruel threat to get Zhu Ke, because they had almost run out of time. Their threat made the entire East Continent upset. At the very beginning, people believed Zhu Ke was invincible. When the Outlanders started to threaten him, people started to know something was wrong. Oh, no, our prediction is wrong. If Zhu Ke could kill cultivators at the threshold of the crossing calamity stage, how could he hide himself according to this style? Crap. If he doesn't show up, we will be killed because of him, right? Damn. As far as I know, there are still 5 cultivators at the threshold of the crossing calamity stage among those Outlanders. All of a sudden, many cultivators were terrified. They started to prepare best-grade spirit stones and planned to escape by taking the teleportation devices. However, some big families and sects, who couldn't abandon their big businesses, were just like cats on hot bricks. Someone of the Gong family said publicly, Zhu Ke, can you hear me? Are you going to make all the people in the East Continent die for you? Someone of the Bei family also said, Zhu Ke, if you are a man, just stand up. Can you really bear to see innocent people killed because of you? Buttface said, the one whose family name is Zhu. I am no longer your buddy. One should answer for what he does himself. Just show up. Wajude, friends of the Exploding Heavens faction, don't come and drink with me. I am quite busy now. The faction leader of the Utopia faction, screw it. Chapter 715, Zhu Ke, where is your sense of integrity? While Zhu Ke was moving around different cities with Zhang Hongyan, he heard the warnings. If I don't go to the Celestial Burial Valley to have a fight with them, they will kill everyone in the East Continent. Zhu Ke sneered. He was now in his best state ever, more than 80,000 acting tough points. Now he would easily be able to kill a few cultivators who were almost in the crossing calamity stage. Even if he would run out of his Taoist connotation, he could go away and rest for a few days and return. However, before Zhang Hongyan recollected her memories, he did not want to show himself in public in case Zhang Hongyan was taken away. In the next few days, Zhu Ke tried everything he could to flirt with Zhang Hongyan, but she gave no response at all. For example, when Zhu Ke wanted to take off his clothes to keep Hongyan out of the rain, Hongyan just waved her hand and she literally became waterproof. Besides, where they were there were no carriages on the road or thugs, so Hongyan could not possibly be in danger. A few days later, the relationship between them had made no improvement at all. In fact, Zhu Ke knew clearly what effect the red rope of marriage would have. It would only increase the chances for two strangers to know each other and stay together. That's all. If Zhu Ke could not win Zhang Hongyan's heart, even if he used 100 red ropes of marriage, it would be futile. Obviously, even if Zhang Hongyan had not lost her memories, she was difficult to attain for any man. In the olden days, she would be a woman that only an immortal cultivator could be with. Now she has become a woman like Zixi, a fairy, who can't be with anyone. I do have to give my gratitude to the Soul Pagoda in the Sky Incense Valley. If it were not for that, I could not possibly get the chance to make contact with Zhang Hongyan. The only thing I can do now is to wait. I have to wait until she recollects her memories. Then I am sure our relationship can be rebuilt. Therefore, Zhu Ke had given up trying to entice Zhang Hongyan, but he could not ignore the threat from the cultivators. One day, Zhu Ke sent a message to them, "Tell those intruders, I would never cause any disaster to anyone in the East Continent. What I am afraid is that after I go to see them, they would still kill everyone in the East Continent." The cultivators got the message and replied to him, "Then what do you want us to do?" Zhu Ke sent another message, "Unless you swear on your inner demons that you would never ever kill anyone from the 4 continents, I will not come. Deal?" The cultivators agreed. Outside of the Celestial Burial Valley, where countless cultivators from the East Continent were standing close to the entrance, The cultivators from the other side swore on their inner demons that they would not kill anyone from the four continents once Zuke came to meet them. In fact, they did not want to do so, since the only thing they wanted to do was to bring Zhang Hongyan back home. Zuke, they have done what you have asked. When will you go to see them? Zuke, you must stick to your word, as well as us cultivators. There are many innocent ordinaries. If you break your word, what would happen to them then? Zuke, go. We will always remember you if you die. Many influential factions sent messages to Zuke. When Zuke arrived at a new city, everyone in that city would stare at him, and he could feel that they were all asking him to go to see the cultivators. Why you are all in such a hurry? I always stick to my word. I will be there in 2 hours. If I am not there, I am a dog. Zuke said. Hearing this, many cultivators were shocked by his words. Is he going to set us up this time, or he knows he is able to kill them, but he doesn't want to let us know how capable he is? Otherwise, he would not make such a decision, since there is a big chance that he might be killed. Still, many cultivators were moved by him. I think I have misunderstood him. I thought he was like Guanjude. Now he is willing to risk his own life to save us. By the way, he has never done anything to hurt us. Those he hurt are people who offended him in the first place. He is such a good young man. If we realized this much earlier, he would definitely have become the strongest guardian of the four continents. I am so sad now. In the future, I will never judge a person by his appearance. Zuke is a talent and treasure to us. Now, because of our short-sightedness, we are about to lose him. Many cultivators were sighing, and some sentimental ones even broke into tears. Zuke was deeply touched and said, "If I die, remember to take my ashes with you. If you are ever in danger, throw them at your enemy and you will be fine." Later, many cultivators from other ancient cities gathered together and saw Zuke off. They were all in tears and wanted to remember Zuke, a remarkable young man. When Zuke arrived at the Celestial Burial Valley, he found countless cultivators were already there. Seeing Zuke coming alone, those cultivators from the other side were angry. "You bastard, where is our holy senior?" The cultivator who was almost in the crossing calamity stage was furious. "You guys talk too much bull. Let's fight," Zuke said while dashing toward them. The cultivators from the other side hurriedly practiced the most incantations that they knew. Bang! Zuke was hit. The next minute his body exploded and vanished. The battle was over. Everyone present was stunned. He is gone. Like this, just one round, and he is dead already? Many cultivators could not believe what they had seen. After all, this was totally not what they expected. A few seconds later, the cultivators from the other side began to curse. "How shameless he is, he just sent one of his doppelgangers here. I swear I will kill everyone in the East Continent." Doppelganger. Everyone was shocked. So he just sent his doppelganger here? He is such a jerk. All those wonderful words were just all garbage. In an ancient city that was tens of thousands of miles away, Zuke returned with Zhang Hongyan from a field trip to a beautiful mountain. He heard what had transpired today and smiled. "They did not say I couldn't send a doppelganger. The doppelganger is my representative, so I haven't broken my word, and they also have to stick to their words." Hearing this, everyone rolled their eyes and almost fainted. "Zuke, where is your sense of integrity? You broke your promise first. How can you force them to stick to their words?" The next day, the cultivators from the other side sent a message: "Tell Zuke himself, not his doppelganger, to came to see us together with our holy senior. We want him to kneel down in front of us before we kill him. He can never have our noble holy senior. If he does not do so, we will definitely kill everyone in the East Continent, even if we would be devoured by our inner demons. We are going to wipe out the Utopia faction first, then kill Buttface and Wanjude." Meanwhile, Zuke was quietly sitting next to Zhang Hongyan, watching her cultivating. They had been together for almost half a month, but nothing had happened between them yet. They were still strangers to each other, but not entirely. Zuke was not upset by this, because he knew that once she recollected her memories, they could be as close as they were before. But when will the time come? Zuke sat aside and sighed. This time of waiting was really hard to bear for him. Facing a woman who barely knew him made him feel like a day was as long as a year. Bang! Suddenly, a magnificent energy erupted from her. Countless spiritual chi surrounded her and changed into dazzling light. She looked exactly like a noble queen. The next moment, she opened her beautiful eyes and saw Zuke, who was rather surprised. She smiled and said gently, "Little thing." Chapter 716, Identity in the Past Life. Little brat. The long-lost but familiar soft call was so gentle and melodious, like an orchid in a desert valley. Hongyan. Zuke woke up immediately and stood up in pleasant surprise. Finally, this day has come. Her memory is restored. I'm back. Zhang Hongyan said with a faint smile on her face. Zuke also smiled. Zhang Hongyan stood in front of him, a beautiful and mighty empress. Now Zuke felt they were closer. The strangeness and sense of distance had disappeared from her smile. The tenderness and the way she spoiled him were back. If she hadn't gotten her memory back, what Zuke would have seen would still be that cold face. It's good to have you back. Zuke let out a sigh of relief from his heart. The concern that he was going to lose Zhang Hongyan disappeared at last. Oh, little girl, how many times have I told you not to call me little brat? I am not little. You should call me big guy or big brother. Anyway, you can't call me little brat. Zuke started to tease Zhang Hongyan as usual. Zhang Hongyan said with a smile, "As for the seniority, you are junior to me. Age is not a problem." Zuke replied. Zhang Hongyan kept looking at Zuke with her beautiful eyes. She was so smart that she could figure out what age is not a problem meant. Therefore, she stared at Zuke simply to imply that he shouldn't always joke about this. Before, when Zuke was stared at by her like this, he would always feel guilty first and end up feeling awkward. However, Zuke didn't feel guilty anymore. He opened his eyes wide to make eye contact with Zhang Hongyan directly. He was bold, assured, and confident. Before entering the ancient bronze hall, Zhang Hongyan tried to cross a horrible heavenly tribulation. Zuke risked his life to protect her and was almost killed when he was hit by the giant golden thunder sword for the first time. At that time, Zuke had sensed Zhang Hongyan change her attitude toward him and stop treating him as a junior anymore. Zhang Hongyan saw something in Zuke's fiery eyes. She was surprised a bit and looked away subconsciously. This was the only time she had felt diffident first. "Little brat, do you know my identity?" She changed the topic. Zuke replied with a smile, "Identity is not a problem." "That's not what I want to say." Zhang Hongyan smiled. "I mean, do you know my identity in my past life?" "Identity in your past life is not a problem either." Zuke pressed hard, emphasizing his point to Zhang Hongyan that age and identity were not problems in the face of love. "That's enough. Please be serious. I want to tell you my identity." Zhang Hongyan rolled her eyes at Zuke, then she added, "I only tell this to you." Her meaning was quite evident. Although she didn't answer Zuke's comments directly, "Please be serious," said she knew Zuke's intention. Moreover, "I only tell this to you" meant Zuke was the unique person in her heart, who was most important. However, she needed time to adapt to this change. After all, before her heavenly tribulation outside the celestial burial valley, Zuke was just a junior for her. She had slept in the ancient bronze hall for several years. It was quite difficult for her to change her mind when she had just regained her memory. But Zuke was quite satisfied to get this hint. The most important thing in flirting with a girl is patience. "I should do it like boiling a frog." No, it should be like running water in a long rill. It is only a matter of time for us to get a solid love. Actually, I have had some information about you. You experienced a reincarnation. You were in the Xuanzan continent in your past life as a person with an extremely high position, and they address you as the Holy Senior. Zuke told everything he knew calmly. No matter how prominent Zhang Hongyan could be, even if she became the immortal empress, he wouldn't feel any pressure at all. It seemed Zhang Hongyan was also a little bit surprised by his calmness. Then, she smiled slightly. She knew this was the style of Zuke. An extraordinary young man who could always create miracles. What you said is right. I experienced a reincarnation, and I was the Empress of the Xuanzan continent in my past life. Zhang Hongyan said with a smile as she nodded her head. Holy shit, the Empress of the Xuanzan continent? No matter how carefree Zhu Ke was, he was still surprised by those words. He had thought Zhang Hongyan was a cultivator at very high cultivation stage who enjoyed a high position in a sect in her past life. However, he never expected she was the Empress of an entire continent. You were the Empress of the Water Nation. I didn't expect you were also an Empress in your past life. It seems you were born to be an Empress. Zhu Ke said with a smile. Zhang Hongyan really had the temperament of an imperial family. Her innate aura as an empress was quite incredible. Zhang Hongyan shook her head slightly and said with a complicated expression, in my past life, I got the throne from my father. However, my fate was too feeble to control the entire Xuanzan continent. Therefore, my father found an ancient celestial artifact for me. Then, he killed me personally, so that I could reincarnate with that celestial artifact. So, here I'm as an ominous person who is called the Heavenly Cursed Lone Star. What? Zhu Ke's eyes widened instantly. Is it really possible for there to be such a crazy person in this world? He could kill his own daughter personally to enhance her fate, just because his daughter's fate was too feeble to control the throne. Damn, this was too vicious. This was his style. After regaining my memory, I feel I have experienced another life. This puppet-like life is not what I want. Zhang Hongyan shook her head and her beautiful eyes were full of resolute lights. She had made up her mind to defy this fate. Don't worry, as long as I am with you, nobody could give you something you don't want forcibly. Zhu Ke said seriously, for he really wanted to protect her. Then he said, patting his chest, tell me, what is his cultivation stage? When I arrive in the Xuanzan continent, I will definitely punish him with my King of Tough Acting Fist. Zhu Ke was quite confident he could defeat Zhang Hongyan's father, no matter how powerful he was. As long as he used the King of Tough Acting Fist, he could kill cultivators at the Crossing Calamity stage or at the threshold of the Great Vehicle stage, even cultivators who had just reached the Great Vehicle stage. Zhang Hongyan smiled and said, looking at Zhu Ke thoughtfully, as far as I know, he had reached the summit of the Great Vehicle stage in those years. I'm afraid. Now he will be more powerful. Just at the summit. Wait, what did you say? The summit of the Great Vehicle stage? Zhu Ke said in surprise. Damn, the summit of the Great Vehicle stage? This is outrageous. A cultivator at the summit of the Great Vehicle stage is only a step away from becoming a celestial. Little brat, take your time. You are still young. I believe you will also reach that stage or even be more powerful than him sooner or later. However, before that, let me handle my own business. Zhang Hongyan smiled and stood up slowly as she looked forward. She was looking at the Celestial Burial Valley. Do you want to solve it yourself? No way. I can't let you go to the Xuanzan continent alone. Moreover, even though my cultivation stage is too low, I could still defeat him with this extraordinary stick. As he said that, he took out the long black stick immediately. It was the stick he used to knock people unconscious. As long as his opponents were unprepared, he could always knock them unconscious by ignoring their cultivation stage. This was the real value of that black stick. Chapter 717. This is the stick you used to hit me with earlier? Zhang Hongyan looked at the long black stick in Zhu Ke's hands with great surprise. She had recollected all her memories and also remembered clearly what had happened after she got out of the ancient bronze hall. Zhu Ke smiled. I am sorry, I had no other choices at that time. Anyway, anyone hit by this stick will faint. How wonderful it is. Zhang Hongyan was amazed. She carefully examined the stick, and then she shook her head. But you can't defeat the cultivator with it. Once a cultivator is in the Crossing Calamity stage, he is able to make a direct connection with the world around him. As soon as you get close to him, he will know. Besides, he is already in the top level of the Mahayana, the Great Vehicle stage. Even so, I have got plenty of ways to defeat him. Zhu Kai said this because he knew there were a variety of incantations in the system. He was confident that he could find one that could defeat a cultivator of the Great Vehicle stage. If he could not find one, he had decided to kill a cultivator of the Crossing Calamity stage to get a big mystery bag, and then activate the lucky aura to open the bag. Anyway, he was sure that he could find a way to defeat him. Hearing this, Zhang Hongyan shook her head. If I don't leave here, I will put all the people in the 4 continents in great danger. In 5 years, he will be able to come to this side if he realizes that I'm not going to see him. By the time, the restrictions here will be broken. 5 years? Zhu Kai was relieved. I thought I was going to have to fight against a cultivator in the top level of the Mahayana, the Great Vehicle stage. He won't be here for at least 5 years. Lol. There's nothing to be afraid of. After I destroyed my own cultivation, it only took me 2 years to get to the void training stage. I am sure in 5 years I will be able to get into the form synthesis stage or even the crossing calamity stage. By the time, I am sure I can kill him as easily as killing an ant. Young lady, don't worry. I can promise you that in 5 years I am going to be the most powerful man you have ever seen. Zhu Kai smiled and reached out his hand to touch Zhang Hongyan's tiny but delicate nose. Zhang Hongyan did not dodge and was stunned. This was not the first time that Zhu Kai had touched her nose. A few years ago, when Zhang Hongyan was going through her heavenly tribulations, Zhu Kai also touched her nose like this and promised that he would keep her safe. And he really had done so. This time, he was very confident and promised her that he would defeat the cultivator who was in the top level of the Mahayana, the Great Vehicle stage. You think I am very handsome and cool, right? Zhu Kai smiled. Zhang Hongyan rolled her eyes and smiled. Behave yourself. She had already made a decision that she was going to trust him, a young man who had created many miracles and who had even saved her life. Right at this moment, all the ancient cities around the Celestial Burial Valley turned into chaos. Everyone knew that the cultivators from the other side had demanded Zhu Kai to come see them together with Zhang Hongyan. They even said they wanted Zhu Kai to kneel down before them while killing him. Many cultivators were terrified. None of them would dare to go if this happened to them. My God, someone like Zhu Kai would never agree to go to see them. Yesterday, I did believe that he would sacrifice himself to save us. Then he sent his doppelganger to meet them and he himself disappeared. Obviously, he was afraid, otherwise he would show himself. He sent his doppelganger to meet them only to get enough time to run away. What should we do? Where should all those innocent ordinaries go? All of a sudden, everyone got extremely terrified. Among them, the cultivators from the Utopia faction feared the most since the cultivators from the other side had said that they would destroy the Utopia faction first, then Buttface and Wanjude. The Utopia faction immediately activated the array of spiritual level given to them by Zhu Kai and sealed up the mountain where they were staying. Buttface and Wanjude vanished together, and no one saw them ever after. But the array of spiritual level was not helpful at all if all those cultivators worked together. They could destroy the array of spiritual level within 1 day. The Utopia faction is going to end. Many people were very sympathetic with the Utopia faction. However, when Zhu Kai and Zhang Hongyan heard about the news, they just laughed. Zhu Kai sneered. They want to destroy the Utopia faction? It is impossible for them to do so. They would be killed by me. I will make sure of that. Do you mind if I kill them all? Zhu Kai looked at Zhang Hongyan and asked. Zhang Hongyan shook her head. Not at all. If I don't go back with them, they would double-cross me and would still kill me. For them, the only king of the Xuanzan continent is my father. I am just a puppet for them to maintain their control. Maintain their control? You mean there is more than one cultivator who is in the top level of the Mahayana, the Great Vehicle stage? You are right. In fact, apart from the 4 continents, there are 2 more. One is the Xuanzan continent close to the Infinite Sea, and the other is the Xuanling continent. There are more than 100 cultivators who are in the top level of the Mahayana, the Great Vehicle stage in total. Zhang Hongyan said. Hearing this, Zuke was stunned. How can this be? The gap between the 4 continents and the other 2 you just mentioned is too big. Zhang Hongyan shook her head. I don't know why this would happen. I believe this has something to do with the restrictions here. Many cultivators, once they reach the form synthesis stage, find it very hard to get into a higher level. How interesting this is, Zuke said in a low voice. Meanwhile, many people knew Zuke had come back and gathered on the street to see if he really would go to see the cultivators, but no one dared to ask him directly. They want Zuke to kneel down in front of them while killing him. This is too humiliating. Wow, so many people, why are you all staring at me? I know I am handsome, but please don't look at me like this. I am going to charge you. Zuke smiled at them. Hearing this, the people all were speechless. No one had the time or the energy to listen to his boring jokes anymore. Zuke looked afar and sneered. Tell them to clean their necks. I'll be there in a minute. Chapter 718. Zuke, you are a bastard. What? Everyone was totally dumbfounded. They didn't really expect that Zuke would go there. After all, the requirements of those outlanders were outrageous. Moreover, they didn't have the guts to force Zuke to go there. Zuke was too powerful for them. Even the patriarchs of the big families and sects didn't dare to provoke him. While they were feeling despair and helpless, Zuke stepped up and said he would certainly go with a smile. This was so unexpected. Just go and tell everyone. Why are you still here? I remember you are quite good at delivering messages, Zuke shouted. The onlookers came to themselves and started to shout excitedly as if they were celebrating a festival. They even planned to set off fireworks in celebration. Good news, good news. Zuke said he will go to face them. Someone shouted with pleasant surprise. Zuke's mouth twitched. Damn, you are really efficient. My gosh. Zuke has confirmed that he will go to face them personally. The rest of the people continued to shout in ecstasy. Crap, you are really good at this. Zuke sighed. However, the onlookers had forgotten all about him and just rushed around telling the good news. Come on, spread the message that Zuke has agreed to face those outlanders outside the Celestial Burial Valley. He also asked those outlanders to clean their necks and prepare chrysanthemums before his arrival. Clean their necks? Does this mean he will kill those outlanders? But why did he ask them to prepare chrysanthemums? Is he going to decorate his tomb with chrysanthemums? Zuke is a brave guy. He looks upon death as going home, which is really admirable. All at once, Zuke gained a lot of acting tough points. Because there were so many onlookers here, he managed to earn around 20,000 acting tough points just by saying a few words. Zuke was so delighted because of this great gain. Hongyan, look, now you know how popular I am among the people, Zuke said as he looked at Zhang Hongyan proudly. Zhang Hongyan reminded him with a smile, when you face cultivators from the Xuanzan continent, don't underestimate them. Their magic artifacts are extraordinary. She still remembered the scene when Zuke killed the powerhouses at the form synthesis stage and the threshold of the crossing calamity stage. She reminded Zuke now because those outlanders suffered heavy casualties when they were attacked by surprise. Now they came with full preparation. Zuke should deal with them seriously. Don't worry, I have plenty of methods to defeat them, Zuke replied with a smile. Zhang Hongyan nodded with a faint smile. Then, she looked at the cheering crowds like a mighty empress who was accepting cheers from her people. Zuke was quite proud about that. It was always a good thing to be a powerful cultivator. However, it was even better to have powerful female company, which could also do good to his acting tough business. Zuke's words were delivered to many ancient cities that day. People who heard the news would always cheer after having gotten over being surprised. Members and patriarchs of many families and sects stayed in the Celestial Burial Valley secretly to observe the situation. After hearing Zuke's words, many patriarchs let out sighs of relief. After all, those outlanders would first slaughter the Utopia faction. Then, it was their turn to face the slaughter. At this time, some patriarchs of the Gong family, the Bei family, and the Zhang family were sitting in a back room. These three big families could almost be deemed as the overlords of the East continent. Now they sat together to discuss the countermeasures. Guys, can we believe Zhu Kei's words? If he eats his words, his trick will annoy those outlanders. Alas, we provided a lot of assistance to help them arrive at the East continent from the Xuanzan continent. I didn't realize that we invited a pack of wolves into the house. They turned against us and treat us as servants. This is the way of this world. The strong always have the right to decide everything. Forget it. Now the most urgent thing to do is to ensure that Zhu Kei will really go to confront them. What should we do? Let's use the method we used last time. We send people to all the ancient cities to guide the public concern, so that we could force that little bastard to go with the provocative approach. That's the only way out now. Exactly. Anyway, the death of either Zhu Kei or those outlanders will be always a good thing for us. Let them fight as long as we are not implicated. After a simple discussion, the patriarchs of several big families had reached an agreement. That day, people started to hear different voices in those ancient cities. Don't be too optimistic. Don't you know Zhu Kei is a man who always eats his words, right? Don't be too expectant. Zhu Kei will never sacrifice himself for us. He will never have the guts to go. If he dares to go, I will eat excrement. Last time he fooled us like this. This time he will probably play tricks again. Rumors which targeted Zhu Kei started to appear in more and more ancient cities. They tried to provoke Zhu Kei with words, so that he had to confront those outlanders to defend his dignity. The next day, these provocative words became more and more rampant. Someone is plotting this secretly. Zhang Hongyan, who sensed something was wrong first, reminded Zhu Kei. Zhu Kei said with a smile, I know. They try to force me to confront the outlanders with these rumors. This is really unnecessary. This time I will keep my word. Right, just ignore them. Zhang Hongyan nodded. No, I won't ignore public opinion. Zhu Kei said with a smile. Zhang Hongyan was surprised and confused. Zhu Kei explained with a smile, they are spreading rumors that I am playing tricks. Right? I will take this opportunity to have fun with them. I will teach them a good lesson, or I won't be Zhu Kei of the Exploding Heavens faction. After saying that, he summoned his Taoist body and asked it to go into the city wearing the human skin mask. The Taoist body managed to find out the three big families who were behind those rumors within half a day. Then, Zhu Kei's real body showed up and declared, Guys, please send this message to those outlanders for me. What, another message? His words surprised the onlookers, for they thought Zhu Kei might plan to escape again. Zhu Kei said with a smile immediately, Please don't look at me like that. Am I a coward? Just tell those outlanders that their holy senior, who is also my Hongyan, will call on her relatives and seniors of the Zhang family. I will go with her. If those outlanders are not cowards, tell them to just have a fight with me at the Zhang family compound. I will give them a good fight there until one party is killed. After saying that, Zhu Kei left for the central area of the East continent with Zhang Hongyan. All the onlookers were stunned. After coming to themselves, they couldn't help but gasp. Is he really going to have a fight with the outlanders at the Zhang family compound? My god, this is too vicious. If he has a fight with those powerhouses at the summit of the Forum Synthesis stage and at the threshold of the Crossing Calamity stage there, the Zhang family compound might be razed to the ground instantly. Soon after, this took place in a back room of an ancient city in the Celestial Burial Valley area. Flop. After receiving the news, the patriarchs of the three big families fell to the ground instantly. A patriarch of the Zhang family even spat blood and shouted hysterically, Zhu Kei, you are a bastard. Screw you. Chapter 719. My friends of the Zhang family, I am coming. The big three families were terrified. All the three patriarchs hurriedly went back to their factions and set up many arrays to protect themselves. At the same time, many cultivators gathered in front of the Zhang family compound, to see how Zhu Kei was going to fare with the Zhang family. The three big families have been trying to set Zhu Kei up. Well, they deserve this. Many people said, yes, they should never have tried to set Zhu Kei up in the first place. I never thought Zhu Kei would come up with this idea. to fight against the cultivators from the other side right at the Zhang family compound. People talked and laughed while walking toward the Zhang family compound. The cultivators immediately headed there as soon as they received Zhu Kei's news. After all, they had not had the time to tell if the news was true or not, since the entrance to the Xuanzan continent was soon to be closed. A few days later, Zhu Kei and Zhang Hongyan finally arrived at the Zhang family compound. This was in a very open valley, inside which there was plenty of spiritual qi and many pavilions made of stone and wood. There were also lots of villages dotting the mountainsides. Everything just looked very grand. The entire valley was shrouded by an extremely powerful array, which was shining and full of magnificent spiritual force. Outside of the valley, many cultivators were gathering who could not wait to see what would happen later. Soon, Zhu Kei and Zhang Hongyan appeared. They looked so great together and made many people feel jealous. Zhang Hongyan looked so beautiful and demure, just like a goddess. If it were not for the Zhang family calling her the heavenly cursed lone star, she would have had countless suitors. I do envy him, and I believe only he is able to walk beside Zhang Hongyan without being cursed. Nonsense, think carefully. Ever since Zhu Kei met Zhang Hongyan, he has been into countless troubles. Do you forget what happened back at the Celestial Burial Valley? Zhu Kei had a big fight with many holy sons and holy virgins. He even lost his life for protecting Zhang Hongyan from being hit by thunder. Then he went to the mysterious land and was in great trouble again and was ambushed by many patriarchs. Now among his enemies, there is a cultivator who is almost in the crossing calamity stage. This time he is asked to kneel down in front of them. Hearing this, many people suddenly got frightened. I don't know why I suddenly feel cold and terrified after hearing what you have said. He must be a freak. He killed a patriarch with only 3 shots. Can you do that? Although he could walk beside Zhang Hongyan, he is already cursed. My goodness, he is really a freak. What are you talking about? It's so noisy. Are you talking about me? Zhu Kei suddenly appeared in front of the valley and smiled. He was very happy since as soon as he landed, the system told him that he had already made a few thousand acting tough points. As soon as the crowd saw Zhu Kei, they instantly shut up and hurriedly shook their heads. They didn't want to offend Zhu Kei. There is no need to be afraid of me. I have just come here as a guest of the Zhang family. Hearing this, Zhang Hongyan was greatly impressed. I can't believe he has grown so much. It is really beyond my imagination. Back in the Five Elements Mountain, I knew he was a man with great potential who would probably become the most outstanding holy son among all the holy sons and holy virgins. Now in just 3 years, he is able to kill cultivators of the form synthesis stage or even the crossing calamity stage. How impressive. Why do you all lower your heads? Am I really that handsome that you feel inferior to me? Well, raise up your heads. I know you are all ugly, but you have to continue to live with courage. Don't lose your confidence. Zhu Kei stood in front of them, boasting and acting tough. Zhao Teixuan, I saw you already. Don't hide yourself. Raise up your head. Yes, just like this. Now smile. Kenji, you are also here. Raise up your head. Why you are afraid to see me? Are you also stunned by my handsomeness? Han Ying, how is everyone in the Heaven Secret Pavilion? Can you ask the old man of Heaven Secret to predict whether I will look as handsome as I do now in the future? Wow, Zhao Munan, how dare you stare straight at my face? Your eyes don't feel painful? Zhu Kei's nonsense had made everyone want to spit blood. Among the group, all the holy sons and holy virgins were about to freak out. How shameless he is. He keeps boasting that he is handsome. Whether we are looking at him or not, he could always humiliate us in such a narcissistic way. They had also realized that as long as they did not respond to Zhu Kei, no matter what he said, they would be fine. Those who answered would lose their spiritual stones or even their lives. At this moment, there was complete silence, with only Zhu Kei's sound echoing in the air. Seeing no one was really paying attention to his provocative words, he directly targeted the Zhang family. Although the entire Zhang family, as well as the valley, were shrouded by an array of spiritual level, Zhu Kei could still easily destroy it. How are you? My friends of the Zhang family, would you mind letting us in? I have brought Hongyan with me. I promise if you let me in, I will not take a needle or a thread away from you." Zhu Ke shouted to the valley. No one answered. Currently, the entire Zhang family was hiding in the basement. Hearing Zhu Ke's voice, everyone was afraid and began to shiver. The head and the patriarchs of the Zhang family were all wearing gloomy faces. "So you mean we just allow him to shout like this? This is really humiliating." One of the patriarchs said angrily. "We have nothing to stop him." The rest of the cultivators sighed. "We should have killed him when we first saw him," Zhang Yashu shouted. "There is no use crying over spilled milk. What we should do is to protect the array and wait until the cultivators from the other side come. By the time they would kill Zhu Ke. Zhang Hongyan is to be blamed. It is exactly because of her that we in the Zhang family are in this sort of predicament. If Zhang Hongyan was not the so-called holy senior, I swear that I would kill her." "Never mind, let's all work together to maintain the array of the spiritual level. With our help, the array has been greatly enhanced. I am sure Zhu Ke can't destroy it." The patriarchs began to enhance the array. Meanwhile, many cultivators were staring at Zhu Ke. Seeing the array set up by the Zhang family, they all shook their heads. "I think Zhu Ke could not easily destroy the array this time." The Zhang family is one of the most influential families here in the East Continent. The array has been greatly enhanced by the patriarchs. No matter how powerful Zhu Ke is, he cannot possibly destroy it, since he does not have enough time. The cultivators from the other side should soon be here. As long as the array is not destroyed, even if the battle happens, the Zhang family will not be affected. After all, it is an array of spiritual level, and it has been strengthened by a few cultivators of the form synthesis stage. However, Zhu Ke did not care about the array at all. As no one answered him, he quickly lost his patience. "My friends of the Zhang family, since you are all silent. No, I mean since you do not let me in, I will force myself in." Then, Zhu Ke took a great step forward and practiced the King of Tough Acting Fist, which cost him 1000 acting tough points. Bang! The surrounding spiritual chi gathered together and formed an enormous fist that hit heavily on the surface of the array of spiritual level. The next moment, the array began to crack and fell into countless sparkling fragments. With only a punch, the array of spiritual level fell into pieces. All of a sudden, there was complete silence. Chapter 720. I can't control myself. How could this be? A spiritual level spell was smashed by only one punch. What the hell is this fist? It is outrageous. All the cultivators were dumbfounded, and their faces were full of terror. This scene was too horrible for Zhu Ke's attack was unreasonably destructive. Zhang Hongyan, who had witnessed Zhu Ke kill a powerhouse at the threshold of the crossing calamity stage, was also surprised when she saw the magnificent destruction of the protective spell. She believed she could never have smashed the spell in such a short time. All the people in the underground back room of the Zhang family compound sat in dead silence. Everyone was dumbfounded and couldn't figure out what had happened. Was the protective spell smashed with one punch? How could this be? Are we in a dream? All the members of the Zhang family were stunned, and their faces were full of disbelief. None of them expected a spiritual level protective spell, which was strengthened by several patriarchs at the form synthesis stage, could be smashed by Zhu Ke with only one punch. Boom! At this time, there was another big bang. Zhu Ke landed on the roof of the mansion like a cannonball. The mansion was razed to the ground instantly. My friends of the Zhang family, if you don't come out to meet your guests, your home will be ruined. Zhu Ke shouted loudly like an extremely destructive devil coming to this world. The patriarchs of the Zhang family couldn't keep their seats anymore. They rushed out of the underground back room hurriedly and shouted, "Bastard!" At this time, Zhu Ke, who had jumped into the sky from the ruins, was about to land on another building like a highly explosive cannonball. Those patriarchs were shocked and yelled, "Stop!" Rumble. Their voices were drowned out by a big bang. Zhu Ke didn't stop and continued to destroy another building with even greater strength. The building was smashed together with the houses all around it. Although the buildings ruined by Zhu Ke were just a single hair out of 9 ox hides for the Zhang family, His destructive power would ensure the entire Zhang family would be ruined in a short time, no matter how big it was. Zhu Ke, what are you going to do? Are you really going to kill all the members of the Zhang family? A patriarch shouted as he trembled with anger. Zhu Ke shrugged and said innocently, I have no choice. You didn't come out to meet me when I called you. I really can't control myself. You can control yourself? Damn. Could you find a lamer excuse? All the onlookers in this area couldn't help but twitch their lips and didn't know what to say. The patriarchs of the Zhang family were just pissed off. They stared at Zhu Ke angrily but powerlessly. At last, one of the patriarchs sighed and said as he looked at Zhang Hongyan, who was not far away, Hongyan, you used to be a member of the Zhang family anyway. Are you really going to allow him to kill all of us? I just came back to have a look and take back the belongings of my parents. Zhang Hongyan, who was quite liberal, dignified, and calm, said indifferently. The Zhang family had nothing to do with her for a long time. She came here only to take away her parents' belongings and her memories. The Zhang family drove her out and erased her name from their family tree. They even planned to kill her. Therefore, Zhang Hongyan would never forgive them no matter how merciful she was. She didn't plan to get even with the Zhang family. However, the Zhang family had offended Zhu Ke, so the dispute was between the Zhang family and Zhu Ke. Zhang Hongyan would stay out of it. This is the way for you to get back something, right? Zhang Yushu, the grand elder of the Zhang family, yelled angrily to scold Zhang Hongyan for bringing Zhu Ke here. Zhu Ke, who was annoyed, launched an attack immediately with his palm. Bang! Zhang Yushu was blown up instantly. He fell into the building behind him and his body was covered by blood. Everyone gasped with terror. As a powerhouse at the summit of the void training stage, Zhang Yushu was only one step from the form synthesis stage. He couldn't even defend Zhu Ke's palm attack, which seriously wounded him directly. Zhu Ke's horrible strength was really unimaginable. You are not qualified to scold my Hongyan, Zhu Ke said as he looked at the rest of the members of the Zhang family coldly. Today, I will settle accounts with you. This is the dispute between the Zhang family and me. You know exactly what you've done, and you should be prepared to accept the cost for your behavior. The patriarch of the Zhang family said immediately, we just sent our people to spread some messages. It's nothing. Why do you vent your anger on the Zhang family? Is it nothing? Hey, for me, this is a big deal. Anyone who attacked me will be wiped out, and I don't care that what you've done is nothing or a big deal. If he was not powerful enough to kill powerhouses at the threshold of the crossing calamity stage, people would think he deserved death after he got killed. His reputation would be ruined forever. Public opinion was always the most lethal weapon. Apparently, the reason that the Zhang family said it was nothing was to shirk their responsibility. You are bullying us. A woman of the Zhang family stepped out and scolded angrily at this time. You are so powerful but you don't want to confront those outlanders. You choose to bully the Zhang family. What kind of hero and sovereign are you? Screw your sovereign. I am not a hero. I am here to bully you. So what? Zhu Ke said with an arrogant smile. The entire area was very quiet. Everyone was speechless for they knew Zhu Ke's style. Zhu Ke was never a hero. On the contrary, he was a true villain, and he was always proud about it. Actually, he was much better than those hypocrites. As long as you didn't offend him, he would never bully you. However, a hypocrite would always set you up no matter if you offended him or not. Therefore, compared with those hypocrites, Zhu Ke could be deemed as a good man. Actually, the Zhang family was reaping the fruits of their actions. Ha ha ha, what an arrogant little bastard. Sarcastic laughter came in from the void at this time. All the cultivators were shocked and looked up. They found several whirlpools appeared in the sky above the Zhang family, which were becoming bigger and bigger with magnificent spiritual chi. Whoosh! Several figures stepped out from the whirlpools. The Outlanders had arrived. They came at the appointed time to kill Zhu Ke. The eyes of the people of the Zhang family lit up and their faces were full of pleasant surprise. For them, Zhu Ke would be a dead man who would never bully them as long as those Outlanders appeared. Seniors, the Zhang family used to assist Dong Zhenji to open the shackle. We didn't expect this little bastard to hold a grudge against us because of that. We have been driven into a corner by him. Please kill this villain for the East Continent. A patriarch of the Zhang family said reverently.